What's up guys, Jimmy here, and what you're about to see is a live, pretty much unedited replay analysis of me versus one of the best European Ken players. This video is basically sponsored by one of my Patreon supporters. Shoutouts to HQTR for making this video possible, pretty much. But before we get into this, I want to show you the full match so you can see what happens beforehand, and then I'll give my comments throughout the whole thing, because I will keep like pausing the replay or going back to a scene. This can be really confusing. I noticed this with the Kage replay analysis video that I recently did, and somebody in the comments rightfully pointed this out, and I think it's a good idea to give you guys the full match first. So enjoy that, and then right afterwards we're gonna take a look at the replay bit by bit with my commentary.
Round one. Fight! Round two. Fight!
So welcome back, hopefully you enjoyed the replay so far. So let's get through this bit by bit to see what happened. Before we get into this though, I want to mention HQTR specifically wanted to have a Minot replay analysis, and I couldn't really find one on my profile because apparently I have not played a Minot player in a while, so that's quite unfortunate. But we also hit another goal of mine on Patreon, and that is the $100 threshold for monthly replay analysis or matchup analysis videos. So these videos are a little bit more scripted and a little bit like well produced or better produced. So I'm gonna try to find a good replay, or I'm gonna try to play a strong set against a good Minot player like Shivs, for example, and give you guys that high quality match with like really solid advice on how to play the matchup. So this should happen like within the next 2 weeks, so hopefully you'll get that. The Minot matchup is very interesting, and I really understand why HQTR wanted me to cover this, so that will happen, but it will take a little bit longer, maybe a week or two, and then hopefully you'll get that matchup analysis video. But right now, let's get into this match right here, me versus Yus TTM. Let's see what happened right from the start. So right away, I get jumped in on, which is really unfortunate. I don't even do the fireball right away. I actually waited a little bit and did the fireball then. Take a look at that. I did this small pause because I wanted to see if he's jumping, and he didn't jump right away, but I got punished anyway. So this is going to be very important. This is great knowledge for me right from the start, and you'll notice I'm going to adjust to that pretty quickly. So full corner carry here, corner pressure. He's getting a little bit of damage in, but it's not really that big a deal here. I'm standing my ground pretty well. And now I'm anti-airing. So this is a pretty crucial moment. You can totally tell that the Ken player is kind of frustrated because he wanted me to jump in or like to do something really risky here, and I didn't do it. So eventually he gave me this opportunity right there, and I took it, anti-air properly, was ready for it. Just this is a good example of just not cracking when you get pressured in any matchup, and specifically against Ken, you're gonna fight a lot from the corner. So make sure to just stay solid. Don't do risky stuff because Ken can really punish you for an attempt to jump out. So don't do that. Here I make a classic mistake. Take a look at that. After anti-airing, I dashed up. I tried to throw him on wake up, and then but he was jumping, so I blocked the jump in attack. This is a classic mistake that you see even on high level. I should have anti-aired him there. If you can block a jump in attack, then you can also anti-air it. This is a rule that you should always keep in mind. This situation should never occur if you play perfectly, so this is a classic mistake. And next time you'll see me actually anti-air him, so this will not happen again. So here I'm getting pressured. His hard kicks are really well spaced, and you'll notice this throughout the set that I don't think I'm gonna get a single poorly spaced hard kick, and I've realized this. So usually Ryu can punish that hard kick with the standing light kick into Tatsu, but it's not really possible if the Ken player knows what he's doing. And this guy has good spacing, and you gotta recognize that and get a feeling for this. Here I finally get an opportunity to get some damage in, and I'm trying to go for something sneaky here. So what you can do here is you dash up and do this Tatsu. If the opponent back rises, it'll look really tricky. You will actually not be able to get behind the opponent, but it will look as if you are going to cross him up, and that will create a free mix-up. Yes, actually quick rises, which is the right call in this spot. He could even, I think he could press a button there, but he's surprised by this move, so he wakes up with apparently a late tech or something. He's definitely confused about this move, and I'm getting a full combo in because of that. So here I'm going with this classic Ryu corner trap situation. There's a 6-frame gap after the fireball. The fireball puts you in a -2 state with Ryu, so if you try to continue the pressure afterwards, it's technically not possible, but if you space it well, then most characters can't actually punish it or do anything afterwards, because Ryu's standing light kick has phenomenal range. You would need to punish this with a 6-frame move that has better range than standing light kick, and most moves don't have this property. So in this case, I didn't have perfect spacing. He was actually able to get a trade with his standing light kick. That's unfortunate, but really not that big a deal, right? So I'm just gonna go back to neutral or still corner pressure, so that's fine. He gets out of the corner. This was quite unfortunate. I was pressing a button when he crossed me up there. Usually, you should try to get that crosscut DP, even with this EX Tatsu. That is still gonna work, and that's still a very consistent anti-air. But yeah, that was a mistake of mine. Instead of me getting the anti-air, all of a sudden the Ken player has corner control, and that's a big deal. Take a look at this again. he has really good spacing on this one. Again, I'm not even attempting to punish it with standing light kick because I know I'm outside of the range. He might even try to whiff punish it, so I'm not going for it. Here he creates space again, and this is a really unfortunate situation. I try to anti-air, but because of the Tatsu, I get kind of confused and actually mess up the input. I'm not sure if I got an auto-corrected input there or something. Not quite sure about this, but this was pretty bad. So yeah, all of a sudden he gets this free corner, this free combo that forces me into that AXTP. If he had blocked that, that would have been it. That would have been the round, right? So here, this is where you can see how I want to play the matchup. I think this is the first time in this match so far that I'm getting some room to brave. And this is where Ryu's zoning capabilities really shine. The way you want to play against Ken is actually a zoning game. This is why I started out playing with the Fireball at first. I wanted to establish the Fireball, the zoning game. I couldn't do that because he jumped in right from the start. But here, this is the first time that I can establish this. And you can already see he's kind of having issues with this Fireball game. This was a little bit sloppy from both of us, really, that light DP. I'm not sure what that was about. I think I expected a run, but that was honestly very risky. And I was lucky not to die right there. I got a forced V-trigger activation. So let's go back on that and see why he did that. Even take a look at that. That's a range where I can punish with standing light kick. So he was forced to activate here in order to make that standing hard kick safe. Very well played and very good awareness from the Ken player. Afterwards, I'm trying to backdash here, so he gets me with the light kicks. I'm not sure what exactly he tried to cover with those double light kicks. Maybe he was just trying to establish me not getting away and then getting a mix-up. Not quite sure about that, but yeah. He doesn't really get it. This is where I'm testing my opponent. Take a look at that. That's an interesting situation. So this is where I established I'm gonna throw fireballs from this range, right? So I was waiting for him to throw a fireball right there. I go back, and this is the range where I threw the fireball last time, so I jump right there. I even had the right read, but I still wasn't sure, or I couldn't confirm visually in time that he was indeed throwing a fireball. So that was quite unfortunate, because if I had done an air tatsu right there, I would have punished this fireball attempt. Instead, I'm landing right on the fireball, and he gets a free mix-up situation right there. Not a whole lot of pressure because I back rolled, really important right there. He doesn't really get it, and I get a second chance to make that comeback. So once again, just zoning with the fireball. Oh, this is where I'm playing really risky as well. Take a look at that jump again. Like, I'm throwing a fireball, another one, and this is where I'm convinced he's gonna throw a fireball. This is honestly a mistake on his end. He absolutely needed to anti-air that, but he's already committed to walking backwards and creating space for some reason. That's, I think, a mistake on his end. He should have pressured me and walked forward instead of back. But I'm gonna get away with this jump in, which is quite interesting. So here the fireball game starts, and this jump in right there showed me that he's willing to take risks. Like, that jump in was a risk that was absolutely not free. There's no real reason for him to do that right there. He could stay on the ground and play the fireball game with me and just wait it out, essentially, because he can force me to go in. Eventually I have to do something, but instead he jumped right there. This is a good indication for me to be a little bit patient and wait for him to make a mistake, because he already showed he's gonna make one. So there it is. See, I'm take a look at that once again. There was the jump in that was totally unnecessary, and then take a look at that. I'm doing jabs here because I'm trying to fake fireballs. This is how you play the fireball game, by the way. You fake jabs because the opponent will jump automatically if you do this, because you can react to a fireball what's gonna happen is you're gonna be you're essentially giving him a visual cue, and the only visual cue that makes sense from this range is a fireball, right? So this is how you can make sure your opponent, if your opponent like has this, if you feel like your opponent is psychic and gets a jump in every time you happen to throw a fireball, it's because you're not faking fireballs with buttons. And this is where he jumped because of the fake, anti-aired properly. Then this is a mix-up situation right there. What do I go with? I go with a delayed crouching light kick. Take a look at what he does. He does a delayed tech, exactly what I'm expecting. And because of that, he's getting hit with this crouching light kick. Crouching light kick, light punch, heavy DP, visually confirmed. And that's it, round 1. That was pretty sloppy though, and a lot of mistakes on both ends, which is why I like to put this, or show you this replay in particular. So let's take a look at round 2. This is where I'm establishing more of a fireball heavy game right from the start. I'm pressing buttons so he jumps. This is where I'm getting, this is quite interesting. So on his wake up, I'm getting hit. And it's because of something that he noticed. I ended the last round with the delayed crouching light kick, and I realized this time around he has EX bar. So the delayed crouching light kick beats EX DP and late crouch tech. And he knows this, so he's adjusting to my option right there. I'm doing another delayed crouching light kick right there, but he's waking up with a crouching light punch to beat that delayed crouching light kick. Very advanced stuff actually, and very smart of him to take that. If I had known this, I should have done a meaty attack, just like a medium punch or something. That would have been devastating for him, because I would have cleanly beat his crouching light punch attempt. But yeah, I was trying to play it safe, and I got punished for it. Gets the full combo. I really get out of the situation quite cleanly. Take a look at that. Take a look at this option right there. So I block, and then I do a delayed backdash. Pretty good stuff as well. So this jab right there was actually meant to hit a late crouch tech. He expected me to be right next to him. I wasn't, so the jab doesn't lead into anything. This is where I finally get the first opportunity. I was basically betting on him trying to walk in, because he saw in the last round I was not gonna escape through the air, right? So I completely wrecked his expectations there and went for the most obvious get out of the corners like option for Ryu, which is jump forward and air tatsu. Now I'm trying to get away, and I'm trying to create space here because I want to throw the fireballs, right? And it doesn't really work. I get wrecked right there. That's a good block. But here, like, he keeps pressuring, and this is exactly what Ken is supposed to do. He's getting away with those pressure situations. That's very strong. This is an absolute desperation move right there. Take a look at that. So what am I doing here? I'm doing a delayed light shoryuken. Why? So I'm blocking the first attack, and then I'm doing a light shoryuken. So the idea is, in a lot of cases, you want to do, as the Ken player, you want to do a jab into a throw, like a tick throw, right? And light shoryuken will beat tick throw attempts. The thing is, if he had done like a shimmy, and he actually went for the throw, we can see this right there. So if he went for a shimmy, I would have been dead pretty much, but he didn't. He actually went for the attack. In a lot of cases, it'll also cover light punch into a medium, a standing medium punch, for example, so that works as well. So yeah, I'm getting a little bit lucky there with risky options, but that's what you want to do sometimes. You gotta take some calculated risks sometimes to try to turn around a bad situation. That's a good crosscut DP. Take a look at that. This is where I learned from my mistake in round 1. So I do a delayed crouching light kick once again. I visually confirm that it's not hitting. And the way I'm actually doing this Shoryuken right there is I'm mentally preparing myself for a neutral jump because I've seen it last round. That's the only way you can actually be ready for this. You either have to OS it, which you even see sometimes on my channel. I'm going to do a tutorial about that at some point as well. But this one was purely reactive, and that's only possible if you set your mind to, oh, the opponent is probably going to neutral jump, and if he doesn't, then like you got to expect the unexpected pretty much. Especially if you're going for the throw. The throw, if you do a wake-up throw on your opponent, expect the throw to whiff and be ready for the option that your opponent chose. Because if the opponent does not jump, then he has to either attack or take the throw. So you don't have to be fast with your reaction in those cases, right? But you have to be fast if he jumps. So always expect the jump, because it's the only option that you have to react to. So let's take a look at what happens next. Corner control now, that's pretty nice. And this time around, take a look at this. This time around, I actually catch him doing a medium punch, it seems. And I had better spacing on that light kick, so he couldn't really do anything about that. So this is an awkward space for the opponent. I'm in light kick range, but the opponent is very unlikely to have any button that can hit me here. Bam, countered. And this time around, he chooses the wake up light punch once again. This time I'm ready. The most obvious thing that the opponent could be doing here is EXDP into V-trigger, but he doesn't go for that because he knows I have a habit of doing a delayed crouching light kick. So this time I'm adjusting to that and giving him a meaty attack. And this is why he loses in this instance. The most obvious answer was expected by the opponent, and that was also expected by me. So there are multiple layers of mind games going on in that last interaction. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, I think that was a ton of information to digest. Hopefully this was informative. I really hope you enjoyed, or I hope you enjoyed these unscripted videos. They can be quite lengthy, but yeah, I think I can put out more videos this way as well. And once again, thank you so much, HQTR, for basically making this possible. This is sponsored by him, one of my Patreon supporters. So thanks a lot again. You are going to see that Minot matchup, but in a slightly different format that I think is better. Yeah, hopefully I'm going to be able to give you that video soon. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. Take care, and I'll see you soon.